Yes, yes, yes. You're gonna look at them and just gaze at them,
Totally.
marinate in their presence.
Yeah, I mean, it was so funny because I was on the phone with my best friend from home. His name's Brian, and I haven't seen him. Like we've known each other since we're 8, and I haven't been away from him for longer than a month since then. And it's been 9 months since I've seen him.
And that is really, I know Brian because Brian's
Yeah,
always with you.
yeah, yeah. And it was just such a funny conversation because I was like, it's gonna be weird to see you in human flesh, like like blood in your body, and you're gonna be breathing, and you're gonna look all human and stuff, and it's gonna be gross because we've gotten so used to seeing each other on like FaceTime. You don't realize how weird that is when you don't see someone for a long time, and then you see them in person, you're like kind of scared for a second by their humanness.
When you do finally get to go home and see your friends, is it going to be weird? Like, do you kind of forget that you're Shawn Mendes at that point, or do you kind of think like, okay, I have to kind of be careful of where I go and what I do because I still am who I am?
I mean, I can't do anything anyways because the country's in lockdown, which so it doesn't matter. But
We're
yeah,
talking
I mean,
about family members.
if I'm at home with my family and friends, I don't care. I mean, I've known them since I was 8, and they could really care less about the Shawn Mendes stuff. I mean, I'll probably get asked a couple questions, but other than that, it's going to be present moment shenanigans.
Can't imagine is that like it doesn't start the album. It's a couple records in. Are you singing to an individual person or are you singing to a group of people? Because if like are you singing the music, it could be anything.
It could be everything, and it should be everything. It should be anything and everything that gives you a feeling of safety. And you know, I I think I like to preach to myself that like, hey, you know, if I don't end up with Camila, it's okay. I'll be fine. Like, you know, we'll be okay. Like we're human, we got this. But there's always this big fear, which is like, you know, I woke up this morning and I'm in Camila's house and her family's there and around, and I'm like, I have this second family now. And I'm not only writing in my journal, I'm thankful for my family, but I have another family, like a whole second family, and all of these people love me and would do anything for me. And I realize like that is the most incredible thing in the world. And that's what that song is about, is like really like just like I can't imagine what it would be like to not have that, you know, whether it's one person, it's your passion for your art, or everyone in your life, you know.
Was that song written and recorded in one take? Because I love how at the end you just say like, "Cool, that's good for now," and then that kind of ends it.
Well, that's not actually a wrote song. That was literally me. I like had the guitar chords and I had a couple lyrics, and then I was like in the studio singing it to show Scott and Nate and Tom my idea, but they just happened to be recording it. I was trying to get the guitar part down, and I was trying to figure out maybe what I wanted it to be. And then after we listened back to it, and we were like, this is just it, you know, because at some point I go, without you, birds would start this song without you. I'm like trying to write the song as it's going along, and at the end I go, yeah, that's good for now. But that was at the beginning of the process, and now it's at the end of the album, and it's kind of just like to put art in a little thing like that's good for now. See you again next time.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Would that would have never made it onto an album in the past?
No, definitely not. And it's also a lot about like freedom and in the moment of like realizing that sometimes like that might even be the best song on the album. Who knows? Like just because it was the one that had the least thought, you know, it's not up to me to decide that.
Your vocals, do you set, I mean, we talk about not setting expectations and letting freedom and just existing kind of lead the way, but I feel like your vocals, you challenged yourself.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I'm all about the freedom and letting life happen and just being free, but work your ass off if you want to be good at something. Like no matter what, that is the rule. If you want to be great at singing, you want to be great at guitar, you want to be a great athlete, anything you want to be great at, you got to work your ass off, and you have to be dedicated and disciplined. And with singing, it's like my number one enemy and my biggest lover, you know, like I can't seem to figure out my relationship with it, but I'm obsessed with practicing and getting better. So yeah, the freedom thing is, don't get me wrong, but to make things that are special, it takes a lot of work.
You consider your voice a muscle, and guitar was something that didn't come easy. Did any of this come easy? Like any of it?
I mean, it just depends on who you ask. I think like if you asked a lot of people around me, they would say all of it came easy. But if you asked a lot of people who were maybe a closer circle in, like my parents and
Your sister who thought you sucked at the beginning?
yeah, they would be like, I mean, to be honest with you, it's like it's a nightmare for him. The amount of vocal lessons, he's like broke down in tears and just like lost his mind for days about like, no, it hasn't been easy. And that's nothing in life I think is easy. I don't know one artist who has said their career is easy. I just don't think it exists.
Do you want a career that's not easy? Like,
No,
or
everyone, we would just be bored. If it was easy, we would be searching for something that was difficult. We're human.
your dad was the one who pushed you to write a song. You were doing covers and you came to him and he said, and he literally said, go write a song. And you did.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that is something that I will always remember as being the most important moment of my career. Because I think a lot of kids will say, I want to be a songwriter, and their parents will say, no, that's stupid. And I think a lot of kids will tell somebody in their life that they want to do something and like be anything like an actor, anything crazy, an astronaut, whatever. And their parents will say, I don't know. And that moment might have the effect of a lifetime on that kid. And that moment of my dad will being like, oh, no hesitation, go write a song if you're a songwriter. Like, it was never like a question of whether I was or not. It was in my hand at that moment. And I'll never forget that, you know. It's super important.
I mean, that push essentially started you down a path that set you apart from anybody else making covers, right? Like,
yeah,
few of them can consider themselves a songwriter.
Sure. I mean, and I think, you know, that's why it was important in the documentary. I say, you know, the story I tell the girl at the Q&A, she's like, I want to be a songwriter like you. Know what I do? I said, go write a song. Like, just start. Like, go do the thing and do it against all odds and do it against everybody saying you shouldn't do it, because it's what you love to do. And I say this also for any kid listening, or anybody of any age listening, debating whether or not they want to follow something that they love that people think they shouldn't. Do it, because you will always, always, always think about it and regret it if you don't. And it's just like a beautiful thing is passion and excitement and love for something. So, you know, life's short to like not be chasing that stuff.
Do you remember the first song you wrote?
I wrote a song called My Time. And it was really funny. I've always been a pretty, like, I guess, I can't find the word. I've always been very ambitious. And the song was like, this is my time, and I'm gonna, literally the lyric was, it's my time and I'll figure it out.
You did.
I figured it. I mean, to an extent, yeah.
We all continue to figure it out each and every day, because
Totally. I mean, this is the beauty of life. And I think for me, what I've started to learn more lately is that I can not only be experiencing it, but then I can kind of just like share it and hope that it maybe shines light on other people's ways of seeing life, you know?
Shawn, when you're growing up doing these covers and you're covering these songs from these artists that are performing in stadiums and they're your idols and you're like, wow, that's incredible. Now that you're in that position, do you feel like one of them?
I don't know what they feel like. Because I guess I'm not them, and I know them. I mean, I'm friends with them. I'm friends with Mayer and Ed and a lot of those people, and Justin, and those people whose songs I was covering. And I think the thing about it is that you end up realizing is that like all those people are just like Brian and my sister, and there's people, and that's what you obviously learned, Zach, is like. So for me, do I feel like I'm like that, like idol that I was looking to? I don't know. No, I guess because they'll always be a mythical creature to me, you know. Mm-hmm. Like no matter what John Mayer says, he'll always be a mythical creature to me.
Is it hard to accept that he is just a human being too?
Not at all. If anything, that's the moment when I had a conversation with John where he showed the first signs of being human form was the best day of my life.
It's refreshing and reassuring.
Of course it is.
Okay, we've covered a lot here. Wonder is the album. I beg you to listen to it, because you have put forth a body of work here that, in my opinion, is totally different than anything else you put out. You talk about upping the bar with everything that you do. How have you upped the bar with Wonder compared to your self-titled album and everything else you put out?
I think I upped the bar by lowering the bar. Seriously.
Amen.
I really think that's how I upped the bar. I think I made the best album of my life by putting way less pressure on myself, by accepting the fact that this album is going to be exactly what it's going to be, and I'm going to love it. And that, in my opinion, made the best music I've made. So that's really the truth.
You see yourself as an athlete in your prime.
Yeah.
What is, I mean, but it is true, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can't tour the way you tour 30 years from today. It just
Definitely.
no, I mean, you could, maybe you're Benjamin,
Yeah.
or I have no idea, or what your DNA is, but like 30 years is going to be a lot harder on your body.
Totally.
Do you have an end date for when doing 180 shows in a year is not going to be a thing?
I didn't even know. I don't even know if I have a start date for doing 180 shows.
What'd you do? Like
I
100?
did 100, 106 or something, 105.
That's pretty good.
A lot of shows. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
a lot of shows.
I think I'm just going to keep going with the whole thing of balance and chasing happiness and figuring out and deciding what it is that makes me happy. So I don't know. It might not be 180 shows. It might be 100, and always spending more time with my family. So who knows? I am putting zero boundaries on what my career could be. Maybe I'll be interviewing you in a year. Who knows? Like I just don't know anymore. So I'm not trying to figure that out as much.
Shawn, you and Camila obviously have gotten so close. Do you guys ever talk about like your future or anything? Because it seems like you're closer than ever now. You're like, her family is your family. She's
Yeah.
coming to spend time in like Toronto.
Yeah. I mean, all the time. I think the way I see it is, if it's like not like a long-term forever thing, then I mean, I'm just always thinking that way. So yeah, it's like a real partner. It's like a partner in crime. You have someone to bounce any ideas off of, and the hardest ideas, which is the life ones. And yeah, we always talk about that stuff.
You've learned a lot from her, right?
Yeah.
Is there something, I mean, do you look at her in a professional sense too and learn from her in a workspace, or is it really just personal growth? But I know the two are very much like they're one and the same.
Yeah, they're super similar. I think, the thing that I feel from her is this. I mean, everyone is, and I mean, her and I are so similar in a lot of ways, but also extremely different in a lot of ways. And like I said before, she has this amazing ability to just accept. And I've been preaching it this whole call. It's like, I'm just accepting. Like whatever comes, whatever happens. I'm not trying to figure it out. But the truth is that it's hard, and it's like a constant battle. And I'm never happy with the results when it's happening. And she is so good at accepting people and accepting things as they are. So I'll always learn that from her. We just got a puppy, and she's like, for some reason, like, I guess it's just like instinct, she's like so good at taking care of the puppy. And I'm like, Tarzan, listen to me. And she like knows how to like speak puppy language, and it's like, that's also really inspiring.
And we're gonna wrap it up here in a second, but I beg, I'm telling you, it's better for your soul. Like you'll walk away a better person if you listen to this album. I promise you that. I mentioned that your last album is one of my favorite bodies of work of all time. There's a lot of nods to love in that album. When You're Ready is a song that I listen to all the time, and I started listening to differently after there was that dramatic moment of you in the SUV, and you're like, every song's about her. And like, I mean, and like, I listen to it differently. In that song, you go to your parents and you say that your parents said that she's the one. Do you believe that? Do they believe that?
My dad he's hilarious. Like my dad, I mean, my dad is never very serious about things, but he would always just bug me and be like, "How's my daughter-in-law doing?" I think obviously your parents don't know, but when you know, you know. But I definitely went to them a lot about it.
Dude, I feel like when you know, and then your parents know that you know, and
Exactly.
it's like, y'all know.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Well, my
cool.
very last question is about the hair. Your hair is phenomenal. It
Thanks.
looks incredible. Was this planned or is this a quarantine thing? How long you gonna let it go for?
I don't know how. I mean, I'm in Miami, so it's actually longer than it looks because it's all curled up. I never even knew I had curly hair until I grew it out. I swear, but I always wanted to grow my hair out, but never did because anytime I was in the awkward phase, I had to do Jimmy Fallon or something, and I'd have to cut my hair. But quarantine let me grow it. So who knows? I don't know. I'm just going until I'm pretty much gonna go until Camille is like, all right, we gotta trim this up.
What about facial hair? Can you do facial hair?
I can. You see that?
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, that's
I can grow something here and there. I'm just waiting. I think I have to at least spend a couple days on the Amazon River on my own before I can earn a goatee.
please listen to Wonder. Phenomenal body of work. You've said it all. We've talked about a whole lot here this evening.
Totally.
We've covered every record on the album, and that makes me happy because I'm gonna play every song on the radio. So it's gonna play all across the country, and I'm assuming it's gonna be on my station in Toronto. But you're not there. You're in Miami.
But I'll be there. But people I love are there, so
That's what matters. Better than you. People you love are present. Dude, I can't thank you enough for really sitting down and talking to us and really talking through this album. And you have incredible collaborators that need to be recognized. So thank you for doing that as well. And is there a story you want, like that you feel like you've told with this album, top to bottom?
Is there a story? No, I think it's a complete mismatch of information and conscious thoughts and love and all of that. But I really don't know if I'll ever have a album that's just a story top to bottom because it's always a reflection of my life at the moment. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, man, thank you. I really appreciate you. I mean, since I was like 16, we've been talking, and I always was like, saw on the schedule, Zach is when I get to go and be myself in an interview. No longer, like I said, this is the me thing, but I always thought that with you. So that means the world to me. So thanks, dude.
Well, I appreciate you very much, and I thank you for saying that, dude. And yeah, I remember. I will remember that first day that we met. You were really young. It was life of the parties, like was at the beginning stages, and I will never forget. Y'all were running, and you were sweating. You and Andrew because he had chased you, and you were chased from Times Square, and you came all the way uptown. You were in a van, and I will forever remember that moment. And that was like, I mean, very close.
July 3rd, 2014 is when we uploaded our first video with you, I believe.
Holy
wow. 2000 what?
14.
Oh my God.
How old are you? 22 now? So 14 was, I don't know math. How many years ago is that? From 20? That's 5, right?
Wow.
Yes.
Our
15.
caption was Shawn Mendes stops by to talk about his new single, Life of the Party, how he got started on Vine, and what he has planned for the future.
Weird.
Was it this one?
Congratulations on everything you got going on right now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I watched
a
this.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Recap it for me real quick.
So the single just came out a few days ago. The EP's coming out in a few weeks. Going on tour this summer with Awesome at Home Vamps.
That's huge.
Like that's so young Canadian. The EP, the single just came out a few days ago. The EP is coming out. I'm going on tour with Awesome Home and the Vamps, and like can't even.
They're so cool.
They're good dudes.
Oh yeah,
very good dudes.
Label mates.
How old is
Yeah,
that?
I don't know. Label mates.
Yeah.
I mean, you're signed to Island.
Yeah.
Working North Republic.
Right.
You look
I'm gonna vomit everywhere. I hate myself. You were phenomenal.
No, dude,
Imagine-
I was shaking my boot. I was like really so nervous.
Imagine though telling that Shawn where he was going to be now, what he was going to accomplish in the next 6-7 years.
Dude, this is a long interview. This is like 15 minutes. I wonder what we talked about.
I don't want to. Gonna go back and late night viewing.
I might have that. I might do that tonight.
That is not the interview. Hey, I really do appreciate this very, very much. And yeah, you are an incredible human being and a great artist. And it's cool. It's just cool to watch real, genuine human beings succeed with real talent. Who, like, you instilled a lot of stuff in me. But one of the things from we talked on the phone the last time around Wonder when it came out. Genius doesn't come every day. Genius is not consistent, and that's okay. And I, for a long time, and I think a lot of people, they put pressure on themselves to always come through, to always perform, to always succeed, and like that is taxing. But the truth is, like, again, like you said, like genius is not a daily thing, and
Not a choice all the time.
yes, you
Yeah,
can't
man.
beat yourself up over it either.
Get it.
I
Well,
really appreciate that very much. I think I've thought back on that conversation a lot over the last couple months, and it's really helped me. So yeah, thank you for instilling that one.
of
Means a
course.
lot.
Thanks.
Tell Camila hello if she's there, and her
promise.
mom, who is the sweetest, kindest person, and
Absolutely.
her dad.
Appreciate
Bye,
you guys.
everybody.
See
Good
ya.
seeing you guys. See ya.
Peace.
Bye-bye.